We read chapters 5 through 8 this week, and I know that you need to look at your paper to see what you're just dying to talk about. Okay, give you a minute to do that. And when you are ready to talk, you can look up and we'll know that you're just ready to hit the ground running. All right, who has something they're dying to talk about?
I'll start.
Okay.
I thought it was very interesting whenever Sarah was talking about the dunes at the sea and how Papa went out and made their own dune outside the barn.
Picked up on that several times.
Yes.
How he was trying to make this place more comfortable for her and make it a
Yes.
place where she liked to be, or maybe, trying to learn more about her, or just in ways that he was trying more.
Yeah.
And she called it our dune.
Yes. Yeah, I have that written down as one of my quotes.
Yes.
Our dune.
Yes.
Sounded like fun.
Yeah.
It did.
One of
She
my
went down
quotes
4
that I wrote
times.
down.
Yeah.
One of my quotes that I wrote down was even from the Dune scene. It was the light of the lantern made his eyes shine when he smiled up at Sarah. It was like, oh, okay, he's feeling it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Those were the clues that he was starting to feel something. He had put his arm around her at one point, with the cutting of the hair earlier in the other chapters, and the bird's nest. He had done those things as well.
And yet with all that, Caleb was just so sure she wasn't
Wasn't
coming
coming
back.
back. I
And
know.
why do you think he felt that way, even with all these good signs that she was going to stay and Papa and she were getting along?
That one was just too big for him. She wanted to go by herself. Why else would she want to go by herself to town? And
I know I put, like, one of the big things I really thought about was, do you think Sarah should have risked going back in the house for all of those things because it caused such anxiety for the kids? And I feel like maybe that's why he was so nervous and anxious, because when she went back in, I felt like it caused that thought of, well, one mom's died. Because something happened to Sarah too. And
I didn't get the
I was,
impression
like,
that
so
she
nervous
had
for
any
them.
idea that he was under that anxiety, though.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't
either.
think that she
They kept talking
understood
about
how
them
upset
crying
they were.
in private, and
Yes.
I wanted to be like, show those tears.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Oh, I was anxious then. Reading
Right.
I put down that I didn't know if the kids would know dunes as a vocabulary word, because I wanted to make sure that they knew what they were describing and how they could reference from one dune to the other. But that would be a good point to bring up to them.
I felt like a mic drop moment was page 65 when she said, I would miss you more.
Yeah.
And I was like,
one
oh,
of my favorite
that's
quotes.
it. Yeah.
there'll always be something to miss.
And yes, I put that as my quote, because it was said in there twice, and thinking about that, and what does that mean, and that is so true. No matter where you are,
Yes.
you're always gonna miss something. There's always something that you're not connecting to or having.
One of my
I love Caleb's comment. Seal was very worried.
Yes. That was what I told
Not
Sarah. And then he wailed in her dress.
Yeah.
Poor little guy.
I had the question that I kind of came up with was, is Sarah trying to compare the country to Maine to be able to justify staying? Like, was she comparing everything at the farm to where she had been to try to make it sound okay, maybe in her head, that it was okay if she stayed and didn't go back home?
And how helpful was it that day with Maggie, to have Maggie
Yes.
talking
Yes.
about,
I noticed
so I
that
left
too.
all this stuff too. And
Yeah.
That's one of my questions too. Do you think meeting Maggie was good for Sarah?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
Definitely.
She'd been through the same thing,
Yeah.
because she came out to be the bride of Matthew
Mhm.
and raise his children.
Right.
I thought it was funny, the one chapter where it said Sarah was going out to the barn to have an argument with Papa.
Yes, in her overalls.
Yeah,
Well,
it is
yeah.
overalls.
I
But that was one of my quotes, because it says, "This woman does," like, about wearing the overalls.
I love that Papa came just before the rain, bringing Sarah the first roses of summer.
And that she wore the headband too of daisies that Papa had picked for her.
Well, one of my big questions was, I mean, look at all the ways that Papa has changed. Because in the first chapters, he's like, Papa doesn't sing, Papa doesn't do any of these things. All of a sudden, he's picking flowers and connecting dunes, and you know what I mean? So,
I think he's come a long ways. She's pulled him out of that real deep sadness and grief that he's been living in.
I like when he says, Sarah is Sarah, she does things her way,
And I love how she pitched in to help and the roof, and she said, I told you I'm strong and I'm good and I can get the job done. So I was willing to learn how to plow and
I bet that was a pretty serious storm they had.
Oh my, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, did it last a day, a whole day, night? It was like,
Yeah, they seemed like they stayed out there.
I felt like they were out there forever.
Yeah, they
Yes.
stayed out there all night and.
Kept thinking tornado.
Yeah,
I did too.
I thought that
They're
that's
thinking it's
what.
supposed to be a tornado that
Yeah.
came through and
Walls.
destroys their little
Yeah.
house or something
Yeah.
crazy.
And where would they go? They didn't have
Yes.
anything below ground.
Right.
Talking about the rope from the house to the
Yeah.
barn in the winter too.
Yes.
That snow had to be deep.
And blinding.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's blowing and you're just out in the middle of
That's
nothing
what you had
blocking
to
it.
do, 'cause You
Yeah.
had to milk them or you had to feed them and you
Yeah,
had to get
they were gonna die too.
And I know they still do those barns to houses. Like, I'm pretty sure that's still a common thing
In some
towards
areas.
that
Some
area,
areas,
yeah. So I always thought that was interesting, like how that still, you could actually pull up pictures and show how they still use that farming technique and things because the weather can get so bad, but you still have to go out and take care of the
Right.
animals no matter what.
Right.
In Vermont, there's a lot of houses that are attached to the barns. They may
Yes.
have granaries in between and so on, but all of the buildings are attached.
Yes.
Because they don't know that they can get to them if they're not attached, because they do have a lot of snow there.
There was a lot of mention at different places about the different flowers like zinnias and marigolds and nasturtiums, and I thought that would be kind of something neat you could do. You could look up each one and what kind of
Bring them in.
conditions they grow in or bring them in. So I thought that would be fun. Some of the roses.
And comparing the setting of the two
Mm-hmm.
places, Maine to living on the prairie, and how different it is, the animals, the landscape, everything.
I loved on the first page of chapter 7 how the author used language to give the passing of time. She didn't state it, but the dandelions in the fields had gone by, their heads soft as feathers. The summer roses were opening up. So she's giving us a passing of time here. That early spring dandelion's gone, and now it's time for the roses to open up. Have any of you read sequels to this book?
I didn't know there were sequels to this.
Oh, there are several.
Yeah.
Did any of you see any of the movies?
No.
Did you see the one where the drought was so bad that he sent the kids and her back to Maine?
I think so.
Okay, so she and the kids go back to Maine and he stays there until they finally get
Yeah.
rain. And so the kids get to see the ocean and she gets to, you know, she's
That was
got,
one of my questions,
Yeah.
predictions. Do they ever get to?
they do, but it was a hardship because then Papa was left alone and they were there and they wanted to see him and ends up she is pregnant, so she's going to have a baby too. So it just really gives you hope for what's going to happen in the future.
Those
That's
were
it.
my questions too.
Mm-hmm.
How